Alright, so I had a neighbor. I put a handle on a knife for him, and he picked it up yesterday and then also brought over these. These knives aren't his knives, they're his friend's knives, and my neighbor's pretty good at sharpening stuff, but he says he can't put an edge on these. So when we were talking on the phone, he said, I've got these knives of my friends. He bought these Damascus knives, but I can't sharpen them. I can usually get a really good edge on my knives, but these ones won't take an edge. And so right away I thought, these might not be real Damascus. Anyways, he brought them over yesterday. I've never seen fake Damascus knives. I've heard about them, but clearly this is just bogus. So here's a patterned steel. If we can get this camera to do its thing. Come on, camera, you should be ashamed. There we go. So you see, yeah, it kind of looks like a Damascus pattern, and it looks like it's a laminated pattern too. So we got this little Sanmai action going on, and then a Damascus. And the way I explained to my neighbor the tell sign that it's not real is that this is an integral bolster knife, and there's no Damascus pattern on this part of the steel whatsoever. So there's the brand. Here we'll put this out as a public service announcement. If the camera will focus, please, camera, please, there. So you see this brand here? It's bogusness. I don't know what it would take to get this pattern off of here. If I just like took it to a wire wheel or lacquer thinner. I'm not going to do that because these aren't my knives. And if the guy wants to think he's got Damascus, then great. Another example here. This one's very clear. So here we got this Damascus pattern. This is the same piece of steel, but there's no Damascus there. And we all know, I'm not even a Damascus expert, but we in the community that know what Damascus is, we know that if you've got a pattern here and it's the same steel, you're going to get that pattern here. So yeah, absolute bogus knives. This one too, the pattern is actually wearing off a lot. It's still there. And I don't know the history of these knives. I don't know how old they are. You can see there's still mildly a Damascus pattern there, but it's wearing off. There we go. Like if you've ever wondered, I've heard about fake Damascus knives. I'm like, I wonder what they are. That's what they are. Also, these knives are incredibly lightweight. I mean, they're very thin, but even for the thickness of the material, the more you work with a material, you get a sense of what it should weigh. If you're working with hardwoods, you pick them up, and if one's like way light, it kind of strikes you as odd. You're working with steel, you can gauge the size, and you pick something up, it's way lighter. It's like, but this is weird. It makes you do a double take. This makes me do a double take. I'm like, what is this? Featherweight. It's featherweight. This one's heavier because it's got some G10, but so is this. But what I want to do is see if these things will actually take an edge. See if I can sharpen them up. I tried them real quickly on the paper wheels and I wasn't having any success. So I thought, you know what? We need to jump to something that's I know I can get a good edge with. So we're going to take the TS Prof, the original knife sharpener, and we're going to try and sharpen these up. First, I need a new battery in this thing. It's about to die. All right, we freshened up the battery situation. Okay, let's start with this little guy first, because that's the clamp that we have in here. To bring you guys in so you have a better view of what's happening. Okay, so get this knife tightened in here like this. Tighten this little jacking screw, so this actually opens this up and creates this into a pivot point, and you get the mechanical advantage, so it really puts a nice bite on here. I didn't tape these blades. Maybe I should have. It sounds horrible, but I don't have a lot of respect for these knives, so I'm not. If this was any knife that I had made, or a good knife, I would have taped the blade for sure. So maybe I should have done that. This is kind of a little. Should treat other people's knives as though they're decent, even if they're not, because deep down inside, I think the guy who owns these is actually kind of proud of them. Okay, let's, we're gonna crank her, we'll give it something like that. Now we'll set our stops, because I don't want to travel too far. So now I can't go there, now you can. Yeah, that's good. Whoa. Oh my goodness, this is not acting anything like real steel. Like literally, I've sharpened a lot of knives in my life, and this, wow. This is unlike anything I've ever sharpened. Wow. Okay. Oh my word. Oh, that sounds terrible. Now, one of the reasons I started with the small one is because if this steel isn't sharpenable, I don't want to be trying to sharpen a blade like this. I do believe, like I've never actually come across a knife that couldn't be sharpened, but I believe they could exist. This might be one of them. You know, just the hardness of a metal will affect how it can actually create a point. If it's soft, it's always just going to smear over. It'll never actually be able to, you know, as you finally come in the grits, hold and maintain a sharp point. There's a certain amount of hardness that's required for that. And if these don't have any of that, ay. Oh, we're pulling a burr. We are pulling a burr, so that's good. I think we got a burr everywhere. That's a pretty soft burr, though. Ay. Wow. Especial. Okay, I've got a little more on this side. Okay, we've got a burr on the whole thing. Now we're going to start refining that edge. And I'll just give a couple of these. You know, when you're sharpening a knife that's quite a ways gone, like this one was, you'll spend more time on the coarser stones, just kind of setting that bevel. And then once you get there, each progression you go through, we're just trying to refine the surface. You're not actually really, you know, shaping that bevel or that angle at all. You're just refining that surface and making it smoother. So with each progression, you take less and less time. I noticed that about knife sharpening. You know, sometimes you spend quite a while at the coarse grits, but then once you start moving up finer, like I've got 6 different grits here. Once we're at the end ones, I mean, it's just a boom, boom, boom. Okay, it makes a bigger difference, you know. I'm using the light just to see where the scratch pattern is, and what I'll do is from one grit to the other, like I'll finish off with scratches in this direction, and when I switch grits, I'll go this way, and that way I'll be putting them in this way, and I'll see once I've removed all the scratches that are going this way, and we've got them all going this way, just visually makes it really quick to know when I can move on to the next stone. Oh, it is sharpening, but I don't think it's going to hold its edge. Like at this point, we're with the fine, we should have a really good sharp edge, and it doesn't feel like it is. My goodness, I don't think these knives are really actually overly sharpenable. Funny thing too is that the titles they give these things, like for instance this one, SD series, SD004S. Okay, that's a little more honest. This here, Damascus, Japanese's V10 Damascus steel. This one here, Alwyn Houseware, avoid them. Okay. Japanese VG10 stainless steel Damascus blade, 67 layers. It's comical. It's like, wow. Like, I mean, I hate dishonesty, you know? Like, they're just lying to people, and man, far better off buying you go to a restaurant supply house and you buy those Henkels with the plastic handles. Better knives than these, by far. Oh no, I want it to have a Damascus look. Makes me feel special, you know? The world's full of fake things these days, isn't it? Things that are supposed to work, but they don't. Nah, especial. I think it's become easy to trick people in this day and age. Very easy. People are just becoming more dumb, more stupid. take anything and be satisfied with it. Well, there's my super fine. So this is the finest stone I have. And from here, after, I usually go to a leather strop. Oh man, this feels like nothing I've ever sharpened in my life. It is strange. Okay, so we have created a burr, worked it up through the grit progressions, and just to be fair, I'm going to give this a little lick with the leather. I mean, I would do that with all of my knives, so I better be fair to this one if I'm trying to see, try to gauge how decent this steel is, or if it's any good at all. A crucial part about sharpening is the steel itself. I think a lot of people don't think about that. And I've even noticed in doing experiments with different heat treating recipes, the same steel treated differently will sharpen differently. And you can notice it in the sharpening process and then just in how well it retains its edge. So, a lot of people that really geek out on sharpening, and I am one of these people. I love sharpening things, gizmos, but a lot of folks just don't take into account the heat treatment. That has far more importance on how well a knife can be sharpened than the device used to do the sharpening. We've got a very keen edge on there, but does it cut anything? My primary method of testing is phone book paper. Well, getting harder to find phone books. And I had a gentleman, some clown donkey, commented on a video saying, "Oh, that's a pathetic test." Yeah, it's not hard to cut this. I can rip it with my fingers, but it will tell you what the edge is like, if there's consistency throughout the edge. So we start here. Oh my, this is not good. That's bad. That's a little bit up there. Wow. I can't believe this. So I think there's a difference in maybe the heat treatment. Oh, what's funny too? I don't know if this will show up. You can see it. You see how crooked that blade is? It's like, oh. Wow. So let's just, as a comparison, I don't know when the last time I sharpened this was. This might be a bad test, but so my pocket knife is about the same. Okay. Bad test. I've got a dull pocket knife. So, what does this tell us? Man, unbelievable. Yeah, I've got a burr here and I go like this and it just goes away. So this part here is actually softer than this part here. I mean, I wish I had, macro lens I could show this to you. You'll never see this on this camera, but this side here is just rolling. This side is not sharpening. This side is. So this is a little bit harder than this, but my gracious. Stop selling people this stuff. This is mean. The guy bought this, thought he was getting Damascus steel, and he's getting much better than a pop can. Oh, man. Anyways, you can see my neighbor. He's been trying to sharpen this one with no success. And I don't even think it's not worth my time. I might just give it a quick lick on the belt grinder, real nice and slow. Not worth going through the time of this because, as we've just saw, you know, we can do it, bring it up through those stages, and it's not holding an edge. It's not going to hold an edge, so I'm just going to give them quick licks on the belt grinder. Anyways, I had these knives in my possession, ready to get back at doing some knife making videos, and I thought this would be kind of a fun one. We can take a look at some faux Damascus kitchen knives. I've never seen them before. I've never held them before. I've heard they're out there, and I've heard some people say, well, they're not real Damascus, but they're not bad. 3 of them, and they're absolute garbage. 100% trash. They may look neat. They may look nice. But this is not. If this was a $5 knife, that'd be a ripoff. This isn't worth $5. This isn't worth a toonie, which is a $2 coin that we have in Canada. No, man, I would just rather have a large coffee than this knife. There we go. Fake Damascus. Clown donkeys get you to buy this stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be back with another one shortly. Cheers.